In the early 1960s, the world stood divided by the Cold War, a silent rivalry between two superpowers competing not just on Earth, but beyond it. Space became the ultimate proving ground. Before any human could go, the unknown had to be tested. Rockets launched again and again, some successful, others ending in failure. Animals were sent first. Dogs, trained for the mission, helped scientists understand the limits of life in space. Some returned, others didn't. One of the most famous, Laika, never came back, but each mission revealed something vital. Could a living being survive launch, weightlessness, re-entry? To find out, Soviet scientists pushed human limits on Earth. Centrifuges simulated crushing acceleration. Parabolic flights created brief moments of weightlessness. Every heartbeat, every breath, every reaction was measured. When it became clear a human could survive, everything changed. The spacecraft had to evolve too. Life support systems were added. Oxygen, pressure, temperature control. Sensors tracked every movement. Communication systems relayed vital signs back to Earth. The capsule became a tiny, self-contained world. And then came the question, who would go? From hundreds of candidates, only 20 were selected. They were tested for strength, intelligence, discipline, and calm under extreme stress. One stood out, Yuri Gagarin. Born in 1934 in a small village, the son of a carpenter and a farm worker, Gagarin grew up with humble beginnings. He trained as a metal worker, learning precision and discipline, but his true passion was flying. Through Soviet aero clubs, he learned to pilot aircraft like the Yak-18. Later, in the Air Force, he flew the MiG-15 jet, proving his skill, focus, and composure under pressure. He wasn't just capable, he represented the ideal Soviet citizen. And he was chosen. But before he could fly, he had to become something more than human, a human spacecraft. His training was relentless. He endured extreme G-forces in centrifuges, experienced weightlessness in short bursts during flight, practiced every movement inside a full-scale model of the Vostok capsule, pressing buttons, communicating with ground control, even eating in zero gravity. He trained for failure, loss of communication, system malfunctions, uncontrolled spinning. Medical tests monitored everything: heart, lungs, brain, vision, balance. Nothing was left to chance. Then, the day arrived. April 12, 1961. At Baikonur Cosmodrome, a rocket stood ready. Gagarin was lifted to the top, entered the small spherical capsule, Vostok 1, and was sealed inside. Final checks complete. Then, ignition. The rocket roared to life and rose into the sky. Stage by stage, it accelerated. Boosters separated. The core shut down. The final stage fired. At nearly 28,000 kilometers per hour, the spacecraft reached orbital speed. The final stage separated. Gagarin was alone, in orbit. For the first time in history, a human circled the Earth. At about 200 to 300 kilometers above the surface, he completed one orbit in 108 minutes. This wasn't just flight, it was continuous freefall, moving forward so fast that as the spacecraft fell, the Earth curved away beneath it. That's orbit. From space, Gagarin saw something no human ever had: the curvature of Earth, wrapped in a thin blue atmosphere. He said, "The Earth is blue. How beautiful it is." Inside the capsule, he floated in weightlessness, and most importantly, he functioned normally. He could think, speak, eat, and work. Human life in space was possible.
His path across Earth was carefully planned, over Soviet territory, from Central Asia through Siberia toward Western regions, allowing constant tracking through ground stations and even ships disguised as cargo vessels. The mission was secret, every signal, every detail tightly controlled. Then came the most dangerous part, re-entry. The spacecraft had to slow down and fall back to Earth. It was made of 2 modules, but they failed to separate properly. Cables kept them attached. The spacecraft began spinning violently. Inside, Gagarin endured chaos. Outside, temperatures reached thousands of degrees. Plasma flames surrounded the capsule. Then, the cables burned away. The modules separated. The capsule stabilized. As it slowed, one final step remained. At about 7 kilometers altitude, Gagarin didn't land inside the capsule. He was ejected. Descending by parachute, he drifted down toward Earth. He landed in a rural field near Saratov. Before recovery teams arrived, local villagers saw something unbelievable, a man in an orange suit falling from the sky. Gagarin greeted them calmly. "I am one of you. I have come from space." The mission's goal was simple: send a human into orbit and bring him back alive. It succeeded. Recovery teams soon arrived. Gagarin underwent medical checks, heart, brain, coordination. Everything was normal. He was fine. Meanwhile, the world had already heard the news. Across the Soviet Union, celebrations erupted. People filled the streets, cheering, waving flags, listening to official announcements. A human had gone into space and returned. 2 days later, Gagarin arrived in Moscow. Crowds lined the streets as he rode in an open car. He was greeted by Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev and awarded the title Hero of the Soviet Union. From a balcony overlooking Red Square, he addressed the world. "I see Earth. It is beautiful. People of the world, let us live in peace." But beyond celebration, the impact was global. In the United States, President John F. Kennedy accelerated the space program. Soon after, Alan Shepard would follow, marking the next step in the space race. Because this wasn't just science, it was power. Rockets could carry people or weapons. Satellites could explore or spy. Every mission was a statement. But for humanity, it meant something more. For the first time, we saw our planet as one, fragile, blue, and shared. Yuri Gagarin didn't just orbit Earth, he changed how we see it. And with one flight, proved something extraordinary. The impossible was possible.